In the blear of Newfoundland's untamed coasts, where the wind gnashes like teeth, there sat an isolated village called Thornvale. A maelstrom of fog and superstition, Thornvale was home to a peculiar tradition held every decade under the sunless sky of a particular autumn night. This ancient ceremony was known locally as Feed the Pig. Jonas, a recent widower burdened by grief, moved to Thornvale, seeking solitude. His late wife Lila, consumed by an illness no doctor could decipher, had left him wandering in a fog denser than any that hugged the shores of his new home. On his arrival, a gnawed chill climbed up his spine as he passed a decrepit sign, "Welcome to Thornvale, feed the pig and prosper." Jonas's new abode, a cautious distance from the cliff's edge where the waves smashed against rocks like claps of thunder, was a quaint cottage. As he unpacked Lila's last belongings, her embroidered handkerchief still smelling faintly of her lavender perfume, he wondered if the sea's weeping was a requiem for lost souls like his. Days turned to a few weeks, and Jonas ventured into town, only to find sidelong glances and hushed tones at his approach. On one such evening, an elderly woman approached him outside the local store. Her eyes bore the weight of many harsh winters, yet there flickered a strange urgency as she grasped his hands with surprising strength. "You must know, come autumn night, we feed the pig," she hissed, glancing around furtively. "Heed the tradition, or bear the curse." Before Jonas could query further, she released his hands and shuffled away, melting into the mist like a ghost. Curiosity gnawed at Jonas, tugging him deeper into the folds of the village's heart. He learned local legends from fragments of overheard conversations and stained pages of forgotten books in the library. Every 10 years, the villagers would gather at the stroke of midnight around an ancient statue of a grotesque pig, nestled deep in the woods. They fed it not with grain nor slop, but with offerings far more personal, secrets, regrets, and whispered sins. It was a bizarre form of communal catharsis. The pig was their vault, their silent confessor that demanded the darkest parts of their souls. Autumn approached with an ominous certainty. Leaves turned the color of rust and blood, skies darkened, and air carried a crispness that seemed to whisper of impending rites. Jonas received his silent summons, a black envelope, holding nothing but a singular, blank piece of parchment. The message was clear in its emptiness. On the appointed night, Thornvale's entire demography, old, young, haggard, and hopeful, marched solemnly into the forest. Jonas trailed, the trees swallowing the world behind them until all that existed was the path forward and the rhythmic crunch of leaves underfoot. At the heart of the woods, the pig statue loomed, moonlight casting sinister shadows across its leering stone face. One by one, the villagers approached, murmuring into the pig's ears. Some left looking relieved, others tormented with greater burdens. Jonas watched, heart hammering as his turn came. He stepped forward, the eerie eyes of the pig seeming to pierce through him. "What do you feed a beast such as this?" he murmured, his voice trembling. "Your wife," a voice whispered back, not from the crowd but from the statue itself. "Tell me of your wife." Chilled, Jonas began, hesitantly at first, then with a torrent of words. He spoke of Lila, her laughter, her descent into sickness, how he felt her slipping away day after day, powerless, sorrowful, angry at the gods and at himself. "Why did you leave me?" he wept, hands pressed against the cold stone. The pig's eyes glowed a deep crimson, and for a horrifying moment, Jonas saw not the statue, but Lila, her eyes hollow, her skin ashen. She whispered back, "Forgive yourself as I have forgiven you." As her image faded, Jonas felt a warmth not felt since her final days, a sensation of embracing her sickness-scarred hands. He stepped back, a strange peace settling in his bones. Returning to the village, something shifted. The stares were not of suspicion, but of acceptance. He was one of them now, he had fed the pig. Nights following the ritual, the sea's roar seemed less mournful. But as winter drew near, the villagers began to change. One by one, they dwindled, succumbing to accidents and ailments as if cursed. Jonas, however, thrived, his grief ebbing each day, replaced by eerie dreams of the woods and the whispering pig. He realized then that the price of fading grief was steep. The pig did not just take, it claimed something in return. Each secret, each regret fed to the pig bound the soul to the village and its fate. Jonas knew he would never leave Thorndale. In feeding his darkness to the pig, he had tethered his life to the enigmatic and spectral forces guarding this shadowed place. As he gazed out toward the raging sea, he wondered if the whisper of the waves was a warning he had failed to heed, that some hungers, once awakened, can never be satiated,